Hello students, in the last video we have talked about the basis of classification and we said that there are 6 bases of classifications are there and those 6 bases of classification are cellular body organization, symmetry, number of germ layers, coelom, nature of coelom, segmentation and notochord, whether notochord is there or not, whether segmentation is present or not, which kind of coelom is there in animal, then which kind of symmetry is there in animal, then which level of body organization is there, how many germ layers are there. On that basis we classify animals. Okay, so total there are 6 bases of classification and yesterday we talked about the first basis, that is level of organization, and in that we said that animals exhibit 4 levels of organization: cellular level of organization, tissue level of organization, organ level of organization and organ system level of organization. Okay, and we said that cellular level of organization is exhibited by sponges, that is porifera. Tissue level of organization is exhibited by ctenophora and cnidarians. Organ level of organization is exhibited by platyhelminthes, and organ system level of organization is exhibited by Aschelminthes and higher phyla. Okay, now today we are going to talk about body symmetry. Okay, and we will try to classify animals on the basis of body symmetry. Okay, so animals can be categorized on the basis of their symmetry. Animals can be categorized on the basis of their symmetry, and they are categorized into 3 categories: asymmetrical animals, bilaterally symmetrical animals and radially symmetrical animals. Okay, asymmetrical animals, bilaterally symmetrical animals and radially symmetrical animals. 3 types of symmetry are there, or on the basis of symmetry we can categorize animals into 3 categories: asymmetrical animals, bilaterally symmetrical animals and radial symmetrical animals. Now what are asymmetrical animals? So let's give the definition of asymmetrical animals first. Okay, so when we try to divide the body of animals by passing a plane through the center, okay, when we try to divide the body of animals by passing a plane from the center of the body, and we don't get the 2 equal parts from any plane. Okay, we don't get the 2 equal parts from any plane which is passing through the centers, and that symmetry is known as asymmetrical animal, or that type of animal is known as asymmetrical animal. Okay, so sponges are mostly asymmetrical, means they don't have any plane that passes through the center, does not divide them into 2 equal halves. Okay, so when we try to pass a plane through the center of the sponges, we cannot divide the sponge into 2 equal parts, and so we call sponges as asymmetrical animals. Okay, so I have given the definition of the asymmetrical animals, that any center which is passing through any plane that is passing through the center cannot divide the body into 2 equal parts, and so sponges are known as asymmetrical animals. Okay, now let's talk about radial symmetrical animals. Okay, in radially symmetrical animals we find many planes which can pass through center and which can divide the body into 2 equal parts. Okay, there will be many planes which can pass through the center and which can divide the body into 2 equal parts. So those animals are known as radially symmetrical animals. Okay, when any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into 2 identical halves, that symmetry is known as radial symmetry. Okay, and radial symmetry is exhibited by coelenterates, ctenophoras and echinodermata. Okay, coelenterates, ctenophora and echinoderms are the animals who exhibit radial symmetry. Radial symmetry is exhibited by ctenophora, coelenterates and echinoderms. Okay, so these are the animals who exhibit radial symmetry. Okay, now let's talk about bilaterally symmetrical animals. So we are trying to divide animals into 2 equal halves by passing a plane through the center. Okay, but here when we get only one plane which passes through the center, which can divide the body into right and left equal halves, that organism is known as bilaterally symmetrical animal. See this figure. This is a crab is there, and a plane is passing through the center of this crab. Okay, this plane is passing crab, and this plane is dividing the body into left part and right equal part. Okay, left and right equal part. Okay, it is dividing the body into left and right equal part. So this is known as bilateral symmetry. This is known as bilateral symmetry. Why? Because we are getting only one plane which is passing through the center, and it is dividing the body into two equal parts. In the radial symmetry, we were getting many planes which were passing through the center and were dividing the body into two equal parts. And in asymmetry, we did not get any plane which passes through the center and which can divide the body into two equal parts. Okay, so in this manner, we have described three symmetry. Most of the animals are bilaterally symmetrical, except Porifera, except Ctenophora, Coelenterate, and Cnidarians. Coelenterate and Cnidarians are same. Coelenterate, Ctenophora, and Echinoderms. All the animals are bilaterally symmetrical animals. Okay, except Porifera, Ctenophora, Coelenterate, and Echinoderms. Most of the animals are bilaterally symmetrical. Okay, so in symmetry we said that when we don't get any plane which passes through the center which can divide body into two equal parts, that organism will be asymmetrical. When we get only one plane which is passing through the center and divides the body into two equal parts, that is known as bilaterally symmetrical. And when we get many planes which is passing through the center and divides the body into two equal parts, that organism is known as radially symmetrical organism. Okay, now let's talk about germ layers. Okay, based on the germ layers, the animals can be diploblastic and triploblastic. Okay, based on the number of germ layers, animals can be diploblastic as well as triploblastic. Now, whom do we call diploblastic animal and whom do we call triploblastic animals? Okay, so diploblastic animals are those who are having two germ layers, and triploblastic animals are those who are having three germ layers. Diploblastic animals have two germ layers, and triploblastic animals have three germ layers. Okay, like as shown in this figure, these two figures are this is a figure of diploblastic animal, this is a figure of triploblastic animal. This is the outermost germ layer, is that outermost germ layer. Okay, and this is innermost germ layer, is that. This outermost germ layer is known as ectoderm, and innermost germ layer is known as endoderm. Okay, and in between them, an undifferentiated mass of cell is there. Undifferentiated mass of cell is there, which is known as mesoglea. So in a diploblastic organism, only two germ layers are there. In diploblastic organism, only two germ layers are there. Outermost is ectoderm, innermost is endoderm, and between them two, one mesoglea is there, which is an undifferentiated mass of tissue is there. Okay, and so here two germ layers are there. So this animal is known as diploblastic animal. An example of diploblastic animals are Ctenophora and Coelentrates. Ctenophora and Coelentrates are diploblastic animals. This is the outermost germ layer, violet color cell. Violet color cell is outermost germ layer, black colored cell are innermost germ layer, and between them pink colored undifferentiated mass of cell is there, which is known as mesoglea. Okay, now let's talk about this figure. Here three germ layers are there. Outermost is ectoderm, then the middle one is known as mesoderm, and the innermost is known as endoderm. Okay, so total three germ layers are there, and based on that the animal is known as triploblastic animal. So platyhelminthes and above animals, or platyhelminthes and higher animals are known as triploblastic animals. Okay, platyhelminthes and higher animals are known as triploblastic animals because they have three germ layers in their body. So based upon the number of germ layers, we categorize animals into two categories: diploblastic animals and triploblastic animals. Diploblastic animals examples are Coelentrates and Ctenophora, and triploblastic animals examples are platyhelminthes and Hyophila. Okay, so have you understood this? Two germ layers and three germ layers, and what is mesoglea and all that. Okay, so animals in which the cells are arranged into embryonic layers, and external ectoderm and internal endoderm are called diploblastic germ layers, like Coelentrates. Okay, an undifferentiated layer mesoglea is present between them and between the ectoderm and endoderm. And those animals in which the developing embryo has a third germinal layer, which is known as mesoderm, in between the ectoderm and endoderm, are known as triploblastic animals, like platyhelminthes and higher phyla like chordates. Okay, platyhelminthes, 2 chordates are considered into triploblastic animals. Okay, so this is all about the number of germ layers. Now let's talk about coelom. Okay, what is coelom? Coelom is a body cavity which develops in the mesoderm. Okay, coelom is a body cavity which develops inside the mesoderm. So if the organism is having mesoderm, then and then only this coelom will develop. Okay, if the organism is having mesoderm, then and then only the coelom will develop. So those organisms who are not having mesoderm at all, they don't have coelom. So they are known as acoelomate animals. They are known as acoelomate animals. And in some animals, even though they are having mesoderm, they don't produce coelom. Okay, in some animals, mesoderm is there, but still they do not produce coelom. What is coelom? Coelom is a body cavity, and that cavity develops inside the mesoderm. So those animals who are not having mesoderm at all, they don't have coelom. Okay, so they are known as acoelomate animals. Okay, and sometimes some animals have mesoderm, but they do not produce cavity. So they are known as acoelomate also. Okay, so like platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes have 3 germ layers. They have mesoderm. Okay, but in that mesoderm, coelom will not be produced. So they are considered as acoelomate animals. Okay, like in this figure, see. આ ફિગર છે એમાં 3 germ layers present છે, ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. Okay, here mesoderm is present, but there is no cavity inside the mesoderm. So this animal is known as acoelomate animal. An example of this animal is platyhelminthes. Example of this animal is platyhelminthes. Okay, here in this figure, outermost is ectoderm, innermost is endoderm, and this layer is known as mesoderm. Okay, but in this mesoderm, white colored cavity has been produced. White colored cavity is produced, and that cavity is known as coelom. Okay, so coelom develops inside the mesoderm. Coelom develops inside the mesoderm, and this white colored cavity is known as coelom. Okay, so organisms who are having coelom are annelids and higher phyla. Annelids and higher phyla will have coelom. Okay, annelids and higher phyla will have coelom. And here in this figure, outermost is ectoderm, innermost is endoderm, and here the mesoderm is found as scattered patches. Mesoderm is present as scattered pouches, not patches. It is present as scattered pouches. Like this pouch is there, this second pouch is there, third and fourth pouch is there. So here mesoderm is present as in form of pouch. So here coelom develops, but this coelom is not true coelom, so it is known as pseudocoelom. Okay, the cavity is there inside the mesoderm, cavity is present, but mesoderm itself is present as scattered pouches, and so the false coelom is there. We should say that it is a false coelom, it is not a true coelom. Okay, because mesoderm is present as scattered pouches. So this kind of animal is Aschelminthes. Aschelminthes is pseudocoelomate. This is acoelomate animal. Acoelomate examples are platyhelminthes, Ctenophora, and Coelenterata. Coelenterata, Ctenophora, and platyhelminthes are acoelomate. Pseudocoelomate are Aschelminthes. Okay, Aschelminthes are pseudocoelomate. And coelomate animals are annelid and higher phyla. Annelids and higher phyla are coelomate animals. So let's look the description in detail. So coelom, presence or absence of cavity between the body wall and the gut wall is known as is very important in the classification. Okay, this is gut. This cavity is known as gut. This is gut cavity. Okay, and this is known as body wall. This is known as body wall. So there is cavity between the body wall and the gut wall. Gut wall. Okay, this is gut wall is there. This is gut cavity, and this wall is formed by endoderm, which forms gut wall. Okay, endoderm surrounds the gut cavity, so it forms the gut wall. So cavity between the body wall and gut wall is known as coelom. Cavity between body wall and gut wall is known as coelom, and coelom always develops inside the mesoderm. Okay, so body cavity which is lined by mesoderm is called as coelom, and animals possessing coelom are known as coelomates like annelids, mollusks, arthropods, echinoderms, hemichordate and modern. Okay, and some animals the body cavity is not lined by mesoderm. Instead, the mesoderm is present as scattered pouches in between the ectoderm and endoderm. Such a body cavity is known as pseudocoelom, and the animals possessing them are known as pseudocoelomate, like Aschelminthes. Okay, and the animals in which the body cavity is absent are known as acoelomate, like Platyhelminthes, Ctenophora, and Cylindrics. Okay, so in this video we have talked about symmetry, and we said that based on symmetry we classify animals into three categories: asymmetrical, bilateral symmetrical, and radial symmetrical. Asymmetrical animals examples are Porifera. Bilateral symmetrical, radial symmetrical examples are Echinoderms, Cylindrics, and Ctenophora. And bilateral symmetrical, most of the animals are bilateral symmetrical. Based on germ layers, we said that animals can be diploblastic and triploblastic. Diploblastic animals are Ctenophora and Cnidarians, and triploblastic animals are Platyhelminthes and Platyhelminthes to chordates. And based on coelom, we said that there are three types of animals: acoelomate, coelomate, and pseudocoelomate. Pseudocoelomate example is Aschelminthes. Acoelomate example are Porifera, Cnidarian, Cylindrita, and Platyhelminthes. And true coelomate elements are annelids to chordates. Annelids to chordates are true coelomate animals. Okay. So today I am keeping up to this. In the next video we will talk about segmentation, and then we will talk about notochord, and then we will begin with the first phylum, that is Porifera. Okay.